Hi, my name is Monica, and the article I chose is about AI and how it could help predict childhood obesity. Childhood obesity is one of the most common pediatric chronic diseases in the United States, and it affects 1 in 5 children. It's also the most complex because it's not only a genetic issue. It could be physiological, and it could also have a lot of social aspects to it. It could be caused by parental education, insurance access, and poverty. Unfortunately, what people can afford to eat is usually not the healthiest of things, so it's not always just genetics. The best strategy that a doctor can use to help aid in this is prevention. If they're able to catch childhood obesity risk early enough, then they can address future associated outcomes like type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and hyperlipidemia. This article discusses the ability to use deep machine learning, or AI, and apply it to data from accessible electronic health records that they're already collecting on patients. The main motivation of this idea is to build a model that can be integrated into pediatric facilities, and the data is already there, so it won't require any extra time or any extra money to collect it because they're already obtaining it at every visit. The information that they're collecting from the electronic records focuses on diagnosis, family history and diagnosis, medications, measurements, demographics, last obesity status before the age of 3, and weight for length percentage changes before the age of 2. They examine roughly 500 childhood obesity factors within these categories, and we're focusing on the ability to predict risk for children up to the age of 10. The findings showed that the model was able to predict obesity within a 3-year window for children ages 2 to 7, which is huge. This article is important because it is a tool that can be used to limit the amount of health issues that children will face early in life and into adulthood. They can prevent a lot of childhood and adult illness and save the patients a lot of money and health expenses in the future. It doesn't cost anything extra to obtain the information needed, so why not give it a try? The implications on healthcare delivery have to do with the technical side of how the data is obtained. There's a question of applicability because the electronic health record systems vary across provider type and individual offices, so a system would have to be built with a user interface to make it interlopable so that it can be used in any type of format, and that's not produced yet. The concerns that I have about this development are that there's a possibility of generalizations to be made or a stigma that can be developed that can mentally affect children at a young age to start thinking about or have issues with body image or how they consume food. Kids are very sensitive, especially in today's climate, and this type of information can assume that they will develop issues with obesity, even if they may never have any obesity issues. The questions that were left unanswered for me are about how the data was collected. The information was collected from across 5 different states, but it only came from a single network, so how do we know how well the information will be represented across the board, across the United States? This ultimately, it's a prediction model, and with the underlying population that contributes the data, does it actually represent the population as a whole? I think ultimately this is a great tool that is cost effective because it ultimately doesn't cost anything and it uses information that's already being obtained. It can aid in the prevention of childhood obesity and health issues that progress into adulthood. Unfortunately, childhood obesity is a major health issue in the United States, and if there are tools that can be used to help prevent that, then I think it's worth a try. Thank you.